My mom found my Spotify playlist, and then she made me have an exorcism. I was really into metal music in high school. Nothing extreme, just the kind of stuff with heavy guitars and dark imagery. My mom was super religious, but I never thought my music taste was a problem since I always kept my headphones on. But one day I came home from school and found her sitting on my bed holding my phone. She'd gone through it looking for something and found my Spotify playlists. Her face was red and streaked with tears. "What is this?" she asked, showing me song titles with words like devil and hell in them. I tried to explain that it was just music, that the themes were theatrical and not literal. She started sobbing and saying she'd failed as a mother, that evil had gotten to me and she didn't even notice. Within an hour, she'd called Pastor Rick from her church and demanded he come to the house immediately. He showed up with another leader from the congregation, and they sat me down at the kitchen table. They started asking me questions about what else I was into, whether I'd ever tried to contact spirits or attended any rituals. I kept trying to explain that I just liked the music because it sounded cool, but then they confiscated my phone and Pastor Rick found photos of a school project I'd done on Greek mythology for history class. There were pictures of my poster board with drawings of Hades and Medusa. "Greek gods," Pastor Rick said slowly. "You're studying false idols and pagan deities." I tried to explain it was a required assignment, but he talked over me. They went up to my room and started going through everything like detectives at a crime scene. They found my band t-shirts and posters. They found a fantasy novel on my nightstand with a dragon on the cover. Pastor Rick held it up. "Witchcraft and sorcery. This is teaching you to normalize demonic practices." He found a picture from a skit in school where I played a vampire and practically went into convulsions. My mom was crying harder now. My dad came home from work and found our living room full of people from the church who'd been called in. They'd laid out all my stuff on the coffee table. The band stuff, the mythology poster, the fantasy book, even a video game case that had a demon character on the cover. One of the leaders held up the game. "He's literally playing as demons. He's practicing their perspective." I tried to explain it was just a game where you fight the demons, but they weren't listening. Another elder found a rock I'd picked up on a hike because it was shaped cool. He turned it over in his hands. "Natural formations can be conduits for dark energy. Did you choose this specifically?" I said no, it was just a rock. Pastor Rick said everything was connected, that I'd been slowly corrupted over time and now I couldn't even see it. My dad looked at me like he didn't recognize me. Pastor Rick said we needed to take immediate action. My mom asked what they should do. He said, "We need to cleanse your home and remove any darkness that has taken hold of your son." The next evening, our house was full of people from the church. They'd rearranged our entire living room, pushing furniture against the walls and setting up chairs in a circle with one empty chair in the middle for me. There were maybe 20 adults there, all people I'd known my whole life. They'd brought candles and oil and were setting everything up like some kind of ritual. Pastor Rick told me to sit in the center chair. I sat down because I didn't know what else to do. He started by asking me to renounce the music and the symbols. I said fine, I'd delete the music if it would make everyone calm down. One of the women from the church stood up and pointed at me. "He's lying. I can see it in his eyes. The darkness is speaking through him." Pastor Rick held up his hand for silence and then put it on my forehead. "We're not here to punish you. We're here to save you from the forces that have taken hold." Then they all started praying at once. It started quiet but got louder and louder until people were shouting. Some of them were speaking in tongues, making sounds I'd never heard. They surrounded my chair and put their hands on my head, my shoulders, my arms. I tried to stand up, but there were too many of them pushing me down. Pastor Rick's voice rose above everyone else's. "I command you to release this child. You have no power here." I started crying and said there was nothing to release, that I was just a kid who liked music. One of the elders shouted, "It's fighting back. We need to go stronger." They started chanting something together, all in unison, and the sound was overwhelming. My mom was in the circle too, crying and praying with her hands raised. I begged her to make them stop, but she wouldn't look at me. Pastor Rick pulled out a bottle of oil and started pouring it on my head. It ran down my face and into my eyes, and I couldn't see. He was shouting, "Leave this body. I cast you out in the name of all that is holy." One woman collapsed on the floor and started convulsing, screaming that she could feel the evil leaving me and entering her. Two men had to hold her down. This went on for 3 hours. 3 hours of chanting and shouting and hands grabbing at me. My throat was raw from crying. Finally, Pastor Rick stepped back, breathing hard and sweating. "It's still in there. The corruption goes deeper than I thought." He turned to my parents. "There's a facility that can help him. A place that specializes in this level of spiritual intervention. You need to send him there immediately, or you're going to lose your son forever." Full story on the channel below.